Behringer have teased us with yet another product. This time it's the Behringer BMX drum machine. And is it gone for Korg KROME? It seems that the last few SMRs have been a bit dominated, or monopolised should I say, by announcements from Behringer. In addition to announcing that the UBXA was gearing up for production recently, they have also announced that a number of other products, instruments, reimaginations, clones are hitting the production line, and we've had photographs of these units sitting on benches at Behringer's production facility, wherever that happens to be. These include the Toro was announced about a week ago, I think it was, which is a reimagination of the Moog Taurus machine minus the pedals. Then we have the Behringer Edge, which apparently is a reimagination of the DFAM percussive synthesizer. Now, I don't know much about the Moog DFAM, if I'm brutally honest, but actually it does look like an interesting semi-modular synth that maybe I should be interested in, but then I haven't been interested in the Crave, which is kind of the same concept, I suppose. Then we have the MS1 Mark II, which is based on the SH101, or the Roland machine that was around in the early 80s. But the Mark II updates the chipset to, I think it's the 662 chipset, over the chipset that was in the original Mark I. Does that mean we all need to go and run out and buy a Mark II like we had to when we bought the RD8? Then we have the Behringer Selena. Now this one is got a lot of interest because it is garnered after the Selena Ensemble or the Art Ensemble, depending on where in the world you bought it. And then we have the Behringer Pro 800, which is based on the Sequential Prophet 600. All of these modules, well, they all are modules actually. None, I don't think any, no, the MS1 is a keyboard. I apologise. Everything else is a module. All of these modules are hitting production. Although I will state, as of this morning when I went and looked, none of these are available to order or pre-order on Thomann or Anderton's websites. I don't know about Sweetwater because I didn't look there. But on the Anderton's and Thomann websites, which are the two of the biggest portals in Europe, none of these are available for order at the moment. But what about the BMX? Remember, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Go over to Instagram and follow me there. Go over to Facebook, follow me there. That's where the normal notices are. And consider becoming a Patreon. Now, before I get onto the BMX, I probably should make reference to that KROME statement I made at the beginning. Going, gone. Now, if I'm honest, I heard that before Christmas, Korg were discontinuing the KROME EX, which is the latest incarnation of the KROME platform. It was said that this was going to be its last hurrah, and once this mid-priced keyboard had run its course, it was going to be discontinued for good. Now, the KROME has always been pitched as the cheaper alternative to a Kronos. Very, very similar functionality, but not quite the same functionality. So, I was told at Christmas that it was being discontinued. The problem I had at that point in time, and probably the reason why I didn't say anything on any of the blogs that has come up since then, is that I could find absolutely no collaborating evidence or collaborating evidence actually backing up what I'd been told. It was still being sold actively through the portals, or so it seemed, and you could still buy it through the Korg website as well as in a direct sale. So at that point I'm sitting there thinking it's not quite the same pattern that happened when the Kronos was discontinued. Very similar though, not quite the same. Anyway, it seems this week that representatives at Sweetwater have been confirming to a number of you guys that watch this channel, because you've confirmed it to me, and I've had it from more than one person, which is why I think it is probably fact now, that the KROME has now been officially discontinued as a product line. Now, there is nothing that has appeared on the Korg radar that says how they are going to replace this mid-price, mid-tier keyboard, which kind of seems to leave a bit of a gap in the market from Korg's perspective, whereas the other big manufacturers have products in this mid-price, mid-tier sector. Korg seems to have dropped their products out of this sector. Now, I noted a couple of weeks back, and I think I said it on the channel at the time, that the Korg Nautilus had dropped in price quite a lot actually, and was now sort of kind of in a territory that KROME might be in, and also in a territory that might compete. It's not quite on par, but competes with the other retailers' offerings for their lower tier offering, if you like. But I heard that this price drop was a temporary effect, not a permanent price drop, and after a period of time it would go back up to its normal sales point. Now, thinking about this, is this really the case? It could be that they're trying to shift stock, and I kind of have a feeling that that's exactly what is going on here. They are trying to shift stock. I think there's been a lot of Nautiluses made, and I don't think the sales have really justified the product. I get that impression. I've kind of been told that, but the official line, there is no official line on it. So that could be one thing, and that's what I really think is going on here. They're shifting stock. They're trying to get the stock levels down on the Nautilus before they have to go and hard discount it for one reason or another, which we might come on to in a sec. Or they are repositioning this workstation to be their mid-tier, mid-price offering, to create space, or put it into the space that was occupied by the KROME, and create space in the flagship area for something else. And we have, of course, got the recent release of the Ranger, the PA5X. And where does that come into play within this market space? Don't know. The landscape will probably unfold in the next few months. Now, thinking about this, NAMM is coming up very soon. Korg seem to be really tight-lipped on what possible new products will be going to NAMM. Do we think there is a big announcement coming? The problem is nobody seems to know, or nobody is talking. So what is the BMX? It is not a bicycle from the 80s. Behringer are not reimagining a bicycle from the 80s. So all those Tony Hawk fans, this is not for you. Glad we got that cleared up. So the BMX is the latest drum machine announcement from Behringer. It is of course a clone, and it's modelled on, yes, you may have guessed it, especially if you've been reading the press like recently, it is modelled on the Oberheim DMX, a drum machine that was launched by Oberheim in 1980 and actually remained in production for quite a few years until the mid-80s. Now, being launched in 1980, pre-MIDI standards of course, it didn't have all those MIDI capabilities built into it, although I do understand that a number of people who owned the Oberheim DMX did have an aftermarket retrofit added to the machine to give it MIDI capabilities, or more importantly, time clock signature, which is probably what you want on a drum machine more than anything else, to be able to clock it to your master clock source. Now, the Oberheim DMX had the distinction of being the second digital drum machine. I've used the word digital on purpose because there have been other drum machines before this, okay, but this was the second digital, and it kind of built on the concept that was launched by Roger Lynn when he introduced the Lynn LM1, and it also followed similar principles to the LM1 in that it was based on a sampled drum kit, and if you wanted to change the drum kit, you opened the machine up, you took the EPROMs out, and you got another set of EPROMs with another set of samples on them, and you put them in. And that's effectively how the drum kits were changed. And if you've seen videos on the Behringer website about the LM2 machine that they got from Tears for Fears, and I'm sure there's other ones on the internet about the DMX machine going inside it, you will see exactly what I mean about all these EPROM chips, and quite a lot of them are all labelled up with different drum kits. So again, like the announcement of the Lynn drum, the Behringer Lynn drum, the unit carried very, very similar aesthetics. Now, it will appear either there or there, I'm not quite sure at the moment, but if you look at the machine front on, you will notice that it looks of a similar size to the aforementioned Lynn drum. It is approximately has the same end plates, and if you looked at the back of the unit, it is almost identical to the pre-mentioned Lynn drum, and very, very similar to the RD8 and the RD9 output back panels. And then you sort of turn around and say, well, it's exactly the same. But Behringer have made an announcement. If it works, why change a formula? And they did this on the MS5 recently, where people were saying, oh, it's got the same keyboard as the Poly D. Well, it does, because Behringer invented the Poly D keyboard and they've just moved it on to the MS5. Likewise, they've developed a drum machine template, case, circuitry layout, whatever you want to say, and they've just moved it on to the next two drum machines that are being developed. Their argument, of course, is to keep the costs down. Personally, I don't have a problem with that argument, because if it means that I can get hold of one of these at a reasonable cost, woohoo, that's all I can say. And yes, do I think I'll be buying one of these? Yeah, I'm a sucker for drum machines. I really am a sucker for drum machines. I don't know why, I just like drum machines. Hence the reason why I'm just looking down there, because I've got my R8 down there at the moment. But I don't know why, I just am a sucker for drum machines. It's a gadget. I love gadgets. I love synthesizers. So this one possibly is going to go up on the list. Of course, the one big question is, what does it sound like? And I'll be honest with you, I have obviously been looking at the various portals as things have come and gone, and I have yet to see anything that actually says a YouTube video, a video on Instagram or Facebook or one of the other channels that actually shows me what these machines sound like, and a sound comparison of these machines to maybe the original. Now, when Roland were launching the TR808 and the TR909 boutique ranges, there were a number of videos done by certain producers who had the original machines, where they actually stuck them on an oscilloscope. I remember one by the Freemasons, where they actually put the machines on the oscilloscope and actually looked at what did the bass drum do and what did the snare drum do, and they were pretty identical. Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should go and get my scope and just look at what the signal looks like. Might be interesting. Anyway, we haven't heard what they sound like yet. Behringer are doing a fairly good job on the stuff that they've been pushing out in terms of tonal qualities against the original. Not the same, but very good job against tonal qualities against the original, which would force you is the wrong word, which may entice you, shall we say, to put your hand in your pocket. Now, many people have said that Behringer would not deliver on many of the products that they have been titillating us with. Yes, I'm using that word on purpose. I think we're getting to the point where those doubting Thomases are going to be proved wrong. And on that note, after droning on for this long, I'm going to say live long and prosper, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.